My name is Peter Donovan, and I'm the developer of soilhealth.app, which is a web app. It runs in a browser and it runs on a smartphone. You don't have to download it from Google Play or anything. And it's the URL, the address is soilhealth.app. And here's the home page, and I'll just show you a few details about it. As you can see, it's a questioning and reporting framework, and it's for groups. Uh, It's also a data repository, but the aim here is for groups of people to use this and learn from each other. And it's not just about surveillance or data acquisition, it's about participatory community science. And you can see the About page for more details. I'll click this cookie acknowledgement to get rid of that little bar there. And I'll move my screen down a little bit here. And let's start looking at what this is. And all the menu is on the top right-hand corner up here where it says menu. And I'll look at projects here. And each group has its own project, if you will. And the most active project is the Rangeland Monitoring Group in Montana. So I'll choose that and to get started here. And here we have kind of a home page. We have under soilhealth.app on the upper left, we have RMG Montana, the name of the project, the name of the group. And you'll see this red thing. It's called public data only. And there's information on the group here. And there's a total of 619 observations and 25 participating observers at this point. And there are three types of content on this website, and you can access them through the menu. There are observations, that's the technical term we use here for all kinds of data, whether it's text, pictures, or numbers, or combination. And observations must be tied to a location, a site, and a site in this case has a pair of coordinates, latitude and longitude in decimal degrees, and some kind of name. And that's all there is to a site. It's coordinates and a name. So observations must be tied to sites. They can't be free floating. There are also posts, like a blog post or something, and there we also do farm ranch maps, and we'll show each of those, but let's start with observations. So to look at the observations, I'm going to click this observation map. And it collects the observations. And now be aware that what I'm seeing now, I'm not logged in, and so all I see is public data. In other words, this is data that anybody can look at. And if I log in, I can see a lot more because a lot of the data on these projects are not public. They're available if you're a member of the group and logged in. And this is a map. You can shift to street map if you want. The default is satellite. These clusters of observations are too hard to separate the markers. You click them on and they'll kind of explode and so forth. And you can click on a marker and it'll show you what observations there are. For example, this is a cover observation. And if I click on this, I can open it in a new tab and see a lot of species cover percentages. and so forth. So I'll close that tab, go back to the map. I'm going to zoom back out and show you how to search this thing to find observations. There's a search box up here, and it's basically a filter thing. So if I look up a word, I can look up words or numbers here. And for example, if I say I want all observations that mention the text alfalfa, and there are only four public observations that contain that text, and so I can click on Update Map and see them, and I can start to click on them, and again, we'll have a cover observation that probably mentions the word alfalfa someplace in it. Right there, alfalfa 1.51% cover. Okay, I can also erase this, and we go back to the total sites that are available to me as a non-logged in public person. I can also search a date that the observations are made. For example, if I want to find out observations that are made in October of 2022, I use this date format, the year with the dash, the two-digit month, and then the two-digit day if I want to add more to that. But I just want to see some observations from October of 2022. I can click on Update Map, and we see that there's two north of the river and three south of the river. Let's click on this one. And these were sites for the RMG fall meeting in 2022. And I'm going to click on the second one here. And I did an infiltration observation here, which is public. It's not private. And I did two rings. The first infiltrated 1 inch in 3.5 minutes, and the second inch took 11 minutes, and similar for the second inch. Here's a picture of the cover that I photographed. I can zoom in with this. You can see my infiltration ring right in there. Very, very dense cover here and lots of diversity and so forth. This was October in 2022. And we have a map there so we can zoom out, and if we want to see where that is, we have the coordinates up there and so forth. So it's very easy to find observations with the filter thing, and you can filter on somebody's name, on a name of a plant, on the word infiltration, or as I said, the dates. And it's pretty quick and easy. Go back to the map here, zoom out. And I have my filter going. If I want to see all the observations made in 2022, there's 18 sites, 18 sites with public observations, and I can update that and so forth and look at those. Or if I want to see observations in July, I could, nothing in July that year, um, or September. You can sort of check with this thing. And if we see what observations are in August of last year, there's 6 sites, for example, 6 public sites, and you can see them there. Okay, so to click on an observation, we can just click on the marker and we'll see the observation. In this case, it's an image of a gate. Okay, there's several other content types. There's posts, and remember, I'm in the RMG Montana project. This is posts particularly relevant to this project. And for example, here's a meeting at a ranch and some of the takeaways, a few pictures and so forth. And in this case, this is a PDF that somebody uploaded. Actually, it was me in April of 2022. Okay, so we have posts. We also have, and you have to be a logged in member to post something or make an observation, but you can see them if they're public. Likewise, we have farm and ranch maps, and these are the public ones. I'll look at this one. This is Bill Milton's ranch. And there's a lot you can see with this. There's different tabs. There's some data tabs. There's links to the Mesonet weather site, which has extensive data and so forth. Lots of links and the Snaplands 2023 monitoring report. All these things. You can put a lot on these ranch things as well as a map. And here we've got the pasture boundaries as well. And again, you can go to OpenStreetMap and see basically a road map, but it shows all the observations for the project. So, how do I put in data? Let's briefly look at that. In order to do that, I have to be logged in. So I'm going to log in. And this automatically goes to my project, but I'm also a member of the RMG project, so I'll go back to that. And let's try posting an observation. So we look at the menu. Now that I'm logged in, I have a number of different options. And as I said, you have to have a site in order to post a new observation. And I'm gonna try adding a new site here. And since I'm in La Grande, Oregon, it geolocates me according to my internet, or if you're using a smartphone in the field, it'll geolocate you using your GPS receiver in your smartphone. So I can also click on the map or enter coordinates or something like that. And there's some help in location. If you click on this button, it'll give you some advice on troubleshooting location problems. But I'll stick with this, and I'm going to add a site, and I have to add a site name. So I'll call something site test site. My accuracy isn't very good because it's using my internet to locate me. So I'll submit site, and it gives me a menu of data forms that I can use to submit an observation. And by the way, it's very easy for me to make new data forms. Anyway, we can include text, pictures, or numbers, or a combination. Let's choose the evidence of soil health as the data form that I'm going to use. And this asks about the soil health principles, describes soil cover, age, patchiness, and so forth. So my front driveway is mostly gravel, low diversity or plant residue, a few dandelions and annual grasses. cover is mainly gravel. Living roots, very few because the green plants are not extensive. Low diversity, this is a driveway and the use of sunlight energy. What does sunlight energy contribute to the economy and society here? Sunlight heats the gravel, which heats the air above it. And I'm not going to use a photo, but if I want to include a photo, I can do that. Uncheck to make this observation public and looking for evidence, not just opinion or judgment. So I'll go ahead and submit this. And that takes me to my outbox. And I have one site to upload and an evidence of soil health on this site to upload. And if I wanted to upload that, I could go ahead and do that. And that upload will take me back to the observation section. And if I look at the bottom, I will see my observation here. And if I click on that, it'll open in a new tab. So I have test site and so forth and everything that I typed and a map of where I'm at and so forth. So that's basically the deal for adding a new site and a new observation. And if I wanted to add an observation to an existing site, let's just take this one as an example, and I'm going to delete this after I make this video. But since I'm logged in, I have the button down here that said add observation to this site. And so I'll click that. And then again, the menu of possible data forms. And I'm going to choose an image in this case. And I'm going to choose I'll just say picture. I'll browse to find a photo that I can use. And I'm going to choose this one. And I'll click open. And this is a picture of the RMG group in 2022 witnessing a cattle move on the Milton Ranch. In other words, learning together, looking at the before and after and so forth. And I'm going to put that in the caption, which is required. And notice this is not connected to the site that it should be connected to, but I'm going to just put it on my test site anyway. And instead of today, it was probably something like the 7th of October in 2022. And I'll uncheck that to make it public. And again, I'll submit data. And so this is my data. And if I wait a few seconds, I have the option to upload it. So I'll click on the upload button. And sometimes with large pictures, it might take you a little bit longer to upload something with a lot of pictures. But you see, this site is way outside the Montana group here. So let's click on it and let's click on, we have two observations here, and I'm going to click on the image. And there we have the picture with the caption and so forth. And so again, it's very simple. And we also have a help page, and I'm usually available to troubleshoot problems that people have. And we also have an about page that helps explain the design and purpose of this web app. Anyway, that's it for soilhealth.app to get started. And again, my name is Peter Donovan, and I'm the developer of soilhealth.app, which is a web app for community science that is participatory and involves groups of people. And I'll stop the recording.